I saw this, and actually, sorry, I didn't see this. One of you guys suggested this, not in the video suggestions, but you guys put this in. When you guys put this, I think it was just in like videos. I don't think it was actually video suggestions, but it was just videos, and it had kind of like the person who posted it was like, about my complaint that I had about my fellow coworkers who struggle to even use a keyboard. And it's about Thor. So Thor is always a fount of wonderful knowledge. So he apparently is sharing a shocking stat, which I am curious what stat he is about to share. So that's it.
Do you want the most horrible stat?
Oh, hang on. I'm going to get out of Thor's way. I cannot block that magnificent mane of Thor, so I will hang out over here while we watch this video, unless he moves.
I'll ever give you, and it makes you instantly older.
I don't want to be any older.
Yes.
Oh, it's good. I'm going to age you right now. We're going to go to the board, and I'm going to show you this. It's going to make you
Oh, give it to me.
It's gonna,
Go to the
I'm
board.
gonna,
I
I'm gonna
can't
give it to
feel
you.
old.
This-
and we
that's the
get
wrong board.
That's the wrong board. We're back on
This
the
has
board.
been twice one of my favorite and most hated shows.
And chat, now you're blocking them. Oh my god. We cannot block Thor. Okay. There we go. Now we are not blocking Thor. Much better. Okay.
We're done.
All right.
This is 5 years ago. So
Here we go.
This is 5 years ago. We went to Mindfair San Diego, which is a Minecraft convention for kids that are between 9 and 12 years old on average.
Okay.
We set up a booth to show off our RPG game, Heartbound. We had one section that was mouse and keyboard, one that was controller. Mouse and keyboard didn't work first day because there's kids that they can't reach the controls. Their hands are too small, right? So we switched over to two controllers. On the second day, we tracked over 400 kids that came up to our booth. More than 50%, it was a little bit over 50, 51, 52%.
I think I heard about this.
Reached out and tried to touch the screen because they had never played a game on controller before.
I believe that.
And they thought that the monitor was a touch screen.
Yeah. I fully believe that's going on with our work. Atlantics, it's my voice changer. That's why I sound like this. It's because my voice changer. Yeah, and this is 100% what I think is going on with people at work. Why they couldn't use the keyboard. Because they are always using touchscreen devices, and they've never used a keyboard before. 100%. I think Thor is absolutely correct. Like, it's shocking how many people cannot use physical tools.
And that is their standard for play games. And this was 5 years ago at the age ranges of 9 to 12. So you're talking about the upper age of this. They're 17. They can almost vote. And they grew up at a time where they've never touched a controller before.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I had to do, okay, my kids, I've got an almost 3, a 5, and a 7. And the oldest, as they both grew up, or all three of them are growing up on tablets. That's the thing these days. Kids have tablets. So they're touchscreen the whole time. When I converted them over to computer, not only did we have to have weeks, and we still do, of don't touch the monitor. Don't touch the monitor. Monitor's not to be touched.
Yep.
But I had to literally do an in-home class to my kids at a time each day for weeks on how to properly use a keyboard and mouse.
Fuck. Chat. I kind of had to do this first day of work. Like, first day of work, I had people in my training class that flat out could not figure out how to use a computer and could not figure out how to use basic UI on a CLI interface. They couldn't figure out that pushing the tab key makes the cursor go to different fields. That's why I said I think the majority of the people that are in my training group are very young, like just out of high school or very early 20s. Excuse me. And they've only ever used phones and tablets. And they've never actually used a legit computer. Because their behavior like, okay, RoboSpartan, there's a difference between not being good with computers and not knowing the absolute basic fundamentals of how to make a computer work. Like how to use the keyboard, or how to move or resize a window, or close a window. That's different.
Yeah.
They had no clue how to approach it. And they kept asking the entire time. They're like, why? The screen's right there. Why don't they just make it so I can touch that? Like, what is this? And my kid kept calling it old people stuff. And I was
God.
I was like, dude, your hand isn't even big enough to go over WASD yet. Like,
that's
out.
devastating, dude.
Yeah, that's
old people stuff.
Oof. And I could watch in the monitor in my reflection as my hair was slowly turning grayer.
Oof.
It's even worse because
that moment from Back to the Future is like, you got to use your hands for this? What is that, a baby game?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's even worse because you've got like this generation has done this.
I mean, this is why I think every high school computer course should be taught on DOS 3.6 and Windows 3.11 so people know how to work. Andrea, I won't even say you need to do DOS 3.6 and Windows 3.11. I won't even go that far. I think that every high school should have basic computer courses. Just basic computer courses. How to navigate through Windows and how to use some basic software, like Microsoft Office. Just because when they get out into the real world, or fucking college for that matter, you're going to need to know how to use a computer. Excuse me. Like, you will, no matter what job you go to. Even like fast food and retail, you will need to know how to use a computer. So this kind of stuff does need to be taught in high school at the very latest. Honestly, it should probably be taught in like junior high or maybe even the upper areas of elementary school. Honestly, just basic computer literacy. How to use a keyboard, how to use the mouse, how to do basic functions on Windows. Because yes, Windows is the majority of what you're going to experience. And I know some do, Eki. Some have it. I think in this day and age, it needs to be a required teaching. It does need to be.
Cheer 100. I don't remember the name of the program, but there was a game on early late 90s computer classes that had you programming a turtle to draw shapes.
I think I remember hearing about that. It's essentially Rygat. I think if it's the one I think you're talking about, it was essentially just like basic programming. It was. If it's the one I think you're talking about, they were just kind of. It was like some basic line of code programming.
Cheer 100. My school had old Apple II with Doom on it.
You had an Apple II that could play Doom? What? Damn, that's impressive. That's impressive.
What's the next generation going to have? Our tech is moving so goddamn quickly for interfacing.
Ask Elon.
You're going to have.
Be wearing a little thing over your
Neuralink.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, we've already seen some people playing games that way. We've seen that before. We've seen that tech even working with being able to do concentration and then release concentration for that. It's wild, right?
Yeah.
Dude.
And like, this is not going to stop.
It's called Logo, and it's an actual programming language.
That logo. Okay, thank you, Genetically. I could not remember what I couldn't remember what it was called. I know I heard about it, and I knew it was basic programming. I had no idea what it was called. So it's called Logo. Thank you.
Stop. The tech we have today, the interface that we have today, is a meme, dude. And they're right. Eventually, mouse and keyboard is going to be some old people shit, dude. Like, it will be.
Yeah.
That's going to be the old way to connect, and it won't be standard anymore.
Yeah.
There was I think it was a couple who, using technology they were part of and researching, beat the Elden Ring DLC using mind control.
Yes,
and
I watched that video.
Really?
Awesome.
They did it by using they did it by mind control. It's the pictography version where they have to focus on different images, and they were able to do that quickly enough to do the inputs for the game in real time using non-invasive technology.
Yeah, that's
and it's like,
wild.
dude, that's it.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Like if you could train a human
That reminded me of a time, 2008, when I had to support an account from I worked for. They were pretty much like a stranded whale in front of the screen because MS Office had updated its UI with the 2007 package. People don't learn concept anymore, or even back then. They learned stupid, simple, step-by-step, move an error out when something changes or it's just... Well, yeah, and X-Razor, that's more along the lines of that they're not being taught to adapt. They're not... That's an issue with learning basic critical thinking skills and logic skills. Where if they see a UI update, their brain short circuits and they can't try and ration out, okay, how can I go about finding this? Where it used to be here, okay, how can I find it where it's now over here? And they don't have those critical thinking skills because, correct, Atanashi, they are not being taught in schools anymore. And that's why we are seeing so many fucking issues with the younger generation trying to adapt to life, and they can't do it because they are not taught critical thinking and logic skills anymore. They're not being taught it in schools, and they're not being taught it at home. And this is going to result in an idiocracy kind of situation because stupidity is what's going to be ruling them, not logic, not reason, not critical thinking.
To be able to quickly, and this is a skill. This will be a human skill to be able to quickly and accurately call up different images, like quickly and fast. The things they could do on a computer will rival anything we can do these days.
Well, that's what
that's like you'd have to spend years doing that to like do it properly.
The part that's really cool about this though, dude, is let's expand that out to medical tech, right? People who are paraplegic,
that's
sure. A new life. That's such a big goddamn deal. And like you see this kind of stuff. And I remember when this tech first started coming out and they had the alpha reader, like the alpha like brainwave reader. And all it was is you could focus or unfocus your concentration. And it was a game where you could make a fireball and then shoot it. And then there was nothing else. It was just make a fireball and then shoot it just with your mind. And like, I remember when that first started, I was like, oh, we're almost there.
Here we are.
That shit's not going to stop. Like, it's just going to keep going that direction. I was so excited for it because I was like, I want my full dive nerve gear, dude. Like, plug me in. I'm ready.
The individual that got the Neuralink thing, he was he was on, maybe it was 60 Minutes. He did a long form interview. And he was actually
tech freaks me out.
He was actually talking about how that in the future he plays like competitive video games now, and he was saying that in the future they're going to have to separate out people that are using that tech from people that are using like physical input devices because
I agree with Thor. The whole concept of the Neuralink is terrifying. Because you're talking about wiring in technology into your spinal cord. Which means that you are going to have a wireless uplink connected to your nervous system. That should terrify you. That is the kind of stuff that like dystopian sci-fi movies and shows are made from. Yeah, that and exactly. Yeah, like we cannot like think about how many hacks we have had over the last 5 years in major fucking governmental systems. And you don't think that the second the Neuralink goes online in a widespread way, you do not think that teams of hackers are going to figure out and succeed in breaking through any kind of encryption to gain access to your Neuralink? Do you honestly think that's not going to happen within the first few months of the Neuralink coming online? Of course it is. So yeah, it scares the hell out of me, the idea of that thing becoming modern widespread tech.
Dude, it's so much faster. I will say this. Now, there are a few different things here. There are some very big things to consider. All of the tech currently works in serial. Right. So the idea of using this tech for like...
Okay, and Salkin, I absolutely appreciate that. And that's what Thor was talking about that. For medical use, it is a miracle. If they can utilize those kinds of systems to cure individuals that are afflicted by, I think you meant NS, not MD. Well, no, you did. You meant muscular dystrophy. Sorry. No, you did mean MD. Yeah. So, like, for using it in the medical field, I 100% see its benefits. And I am all on board. I am 100% on board using it in the medical field to help people like that have debilitating conditions where something like the Neuralink can basically give them a whole new life. I am absolutely on board with that. Hands down. I'm thinking more of the consumer area of its usage, where I get scared. That's where, and I think that's what Thor was also talking about when he said that technology scares me, is because it's for the generalized consumer usage. That's where it's scary.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have some chrome to upgrade.
Very true, Revan. And hi, Bunzy. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. So yes, I absolutely agree that as a medical device, I am on board full steam ahead with it. Absolutely. As a regular consumer device where basically the Neuralink would essentially replace your cell phone, that's scary. That terrifies me. Because, again, it's wiring directly into your brain. And tell me that won't get hacked in about 3.5 seconds once it goes online.
A first-person shooter where you're not only doing multiple things at once, but also switching very quickly, like dodging shots and stuff. This tech is nowhere near that. Nowhere near it. You have to literally imagine a certain
and look where we are now,
enough
Falcon.
for the computer to pick it up. And then when it's done, you then have to quickly shift to something else. And then imagine that until the thing picks it up. So it's not really like, it's getting there.
Latency.
But there's not only latency,
latency,
it's
yeah.
serial. And for any gamer that will tell you, like, serial doesn't really work. Like, if you're trying to move and cast an ability or move and fire, like,
Not possible.
it's not, yeah, exactly. So we're getting there, but it's going to be another decade or two, probably, at least.
You know, dude, what's going to happen when we all have Neuralink and then CrowdStrike crashes our brains?
Yeah.
Bingo! Bingo! That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, Thor. And hi, Osiris. Welcome, and thank you for the follow. Yes. That's what terrifies me about using it in a conventional consumer way. What happens if a CrowdStrike thing happens and we have Neuralink so integrated that it fucks you up? Eh? That's the scary part.
Right? That's a video
suck,
game.
dude.
That's a video game plot, right?
Why do you keep giving me these phobias I didn't know I have?
Yeah. Dwayne, I'm not sure.
This would my buddy who has Chari malformation as well.
Wait, Osiris? How do people usually pronounce your name? It's Osiris. How do you usually pronounce it? So, Dwayne, I'd say yes. I'd say yes. I'd say it's entirely possible that the Neuralink could help with spinal bifida. It could, because it would help with like nerve damage.